Over the past 6 years, my agency has produced roughly 25,000 static ads for brands like Jones Road, Waterdrop, Geesewine, and across a dozen different industries. And some of those static ads outperformed every single other video ad in the ad account, which I'm very proud of. Today I will break down the complete framework that you will need to have for literally making your own banger static ads. We will go through messaging architecture, creative angle and positioning, full funnel strategy, tool stacks that you will need to have, visual frameworks, testing and iteration loops, basically all of it. And once you see the process and results I'm about to show you, you'll understand exactly why static ads remain a core part of every single ad account we manage. But before we dive into it, if you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Bernhard, founder of the Agency. We scale D2C brands to 7, 8, and 9 figures through performance-driven creative systems. And recently, I decided to start sharing more of what we're doing inside the agency here on YouTube. The winning ads, the creative process, the testing frameworks, and much more. Simply put, the things that you as a brand owner or marketer need to understand if you want to know what's actually working in advertising today. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting new videos every single week. All right, so let's jump straight into it. The first thing is we have to get rid of the misconception that everything has to be a video, everything has to be like a UGC, everything is like basically only video reels, story like motion will work and is the thing that is scaling. This is not true, right? I can show you for a fact, for example, in this ad account, you can see that for the past 12 months, we spent like roughly $1 million on static ads and 300K on video ads. And you can see that the return is just like amazing. And you can see that the 24K purchases and everything. Here's like basically the proof that static ads are also scalable. So we definitely have to get rid of this misconception of you have to do videos, you have to do UGCs, or you have to brief people, see people, find them, source them and everything, which sometimes is like a pretty big roadblock to get starting or like to scale, right? Because when we talk about static ads, especially static ads are a proven method to test and trial new audiences, right? If you, for example, make a review or like an analysis about all your reviews that you have for a product and suddenly you understand, oh, well, this product is being purchased by a lot of single moms. Until you write a script, until you find a single mom or like someone who at least gonna do like she's a single mom, right? You could already have like a landing page, a static ad set up the next day and see if the messaging works. So static ads are something where you can use it top of funnel, mid of funnel, bottom of funnel, basically, right? Where you can do messaging testing and where you can scale. This is so important because in the end, Meta doesn't really award videos because it's videos. Meta awards things because people are engaged to it. And this is something that you have to understand, okay? For the second part, when we're gonna start with everything, and this is like across like video, UGC, static, this is like the core part of creative strategy, is you don't make ads just to make ads, to make them look cool for the brand or like to just like show the offer that you're running. What you have to do is not go into Canva, Figma and just design some random designs. What you have to do is basically you have to understand who your audience is. And how do you do that? So as said, I hope that you already have a couple of reviews. If you have like a lot of reviews, you're basically sitting on a gold mine of information. So I did this, for example, for you guys previously, like last time. I created this page with Manus. I love Manus as an AI tool. We use Claude and Manus for our internal processes. I love Manus when it comes to building landing pages quite fast and also when it comes to reviewing stores, because you never have the bug that you sometimes run into Claude with when you have like, I don't know, 100 pages of reviews on Amazon, on your own page or anywhere else. Manus actually reads through everything. Basically what I did here, I just asked them or uploaded reviews that you can download either from Judge Me or any other review tool that having. And if you don't have access to it, you can basically just go to the PDP where the reviews are hopefully included in the site and direct Manus to it and ask you, hey, please analyze all of the reviews and build 3 different personas out of the reviews that you're finding so we can create creative strategy around those new personas, right? And so Manus is working, as you can see here, he's already writing down some of those personas. And the cool thing is you get it like a doc, but then Manus asks you basically, do you want like to have a presentation which I said, okay, let me have it. So there you have a presentation with which you can share with your team or with the client. Or what I like, because it's very easy linkable and shareable, you can make your website. Manus basically does a website with everything. It's in German, but I'm gonna go through it with you. So basically what Manus did, it went through all those 550 reviews and it decided on 3 different personas, right? And what we can see is, first of all, we have, the page looks amazing, right? First of all, have the outdoor adventurer, right? The outdoor adventurer is roughly 40% of all the reviews. These people are roughly around 30 to 55. And what they wanna have, and you can also see that I can switch between ad strategy and profile insights. For me, the profile insights are more or less important because I anyways give the ad strategy. But we can basically see what the profile is, what the pain points are. For example, a cheap equipment, which just doesn't work outdoor, is like basically, it's just for the trash after using it 1, 2, 3 times. Also like when you have pans that are cooking on, that those pans are unusable after 2, 3, 5 times in usage, and so on. We can basically also like see what the reviews are here of those different people. Right? Then we have the barbecue master, because he says basically there are like a lot of images where people are cooking quite a lot. And so we made like a second thing. And then we have not only like the outdoor cooker, but also like the indoor cooker, because while this is an outdoor brand, Trogrlic is an outdoor brand, we can see that a lot of people, and we already know that, right? But we can see that a lot of their products are also like being using inside the house, not just like when they're like on their go outside. Because if people see that those pans are working perfectly well outside and you have everything that you need to have for pans, like quality pans, they most probably gonna have like a second set that they're gonna use indoor. And this is like especially for this product here, this is a very, very important information for us, because for us, an outdoor brand, we usually wouldn't target people indoors, but we then started doing indoor stuff and we saw that there is actually traction for especially those kind of people, because we're actually solving a big issue here for them. And so this is like something where you can basically very easily understand what could be a very amazing target audience. I did the same for another brand, which I really want to show you. It's like I did the same process this time around, as said, with the landing page. And as you can see, we also have like, again, a very nice page around a brand which is selling snacks. Snacks design without the usual compromise, right? So we checked over 4,000 reviews here and we got like 4 different personas. While we can see that the most valuable thing that people have been saying are taste and cravings, right? So roughly 3K reviews are talking about taste and craving. And here's like, for example, a review, right? I finally can eat something which tastes like a real snack, right? But it's just like more healthier than other things. And so we have 4 different archetypes or persona audiences. For example, here, the first one is like the guilt-free trader, right? What is she doing? Basically, she's someone who throughout the whole day is eating healthy, but then when she's at home after work, the whole pressure, stress is like relieving, but then she's craving, snacks, then she's snagging, suddenly the whole box is empty, and then she get like those guilty feelings which she doesn't want. But it's very hard for her to stop doing that because she's so addicted to it, so that she craves to like, or she wants to have a solution for it. And here we are a healthy solution for it, right? We just like 4 ingredients, very healthy, much less, fat and so on. And that's where we're like hitting the messaging currently, for especially this persona. This is like the section 2, right? Where we have to understand how this works. And basically, I think that analyzing through Manus or Claude reviews is like one of the top things that you can do. You can basically do the same thing going to an Amazon page of a competitor or to the reviews of another page, where you can also analyze the reviews and understand, okay, what are the people loving about it? What maybe do they hate? And if there's something that they don't like, see if you're doing it better, and then focus on this messaging, because that's the opportunity where you can differentiate to those people, right? Because if we're gonna say, hey, look, we're tasting just as good as all the other snacks, there's no differentiator, right? But then we're saying, hey, look, we have 30% less fat, we have much more protein in our snacks. Here's the differentiator that we're hitting because we're healthier than the others. So you have to start from understanding who your persona is, because everything is down to the one word, persona-based creative strategy. So now we're talking about what do we see on the ad, right? So like, what is the messaging framework? It's very easy broken down, right? You usually have like a hook line. It's like a bold text, all right? Then you have a core message that you want to send. For example, the healthier snack or the healthy snack alternative, for example, right? We're going to have a look in a second on something that I already prepped. And we, best case, want to show some proof. This all doesn't have to be in the same ads, right? But The more you have, the better. And then a strong CTA. You know, with a CTA, you can show like the stars, the reviews, you know, some quotes that you're having or that you've seen in some well-known newspapers, right? Some PR stuff where you basically tell people, hey, you have to do that, right? Before we go to the next thing, let's look at some of the creatives, right? We have here some creatives for Jones Road. And if we look here, for example, at those things, our hook is like effortless glow at 50 because our target audience is the 50 plus wellness practitioner, right? So we say, hey, you can have an effortless glow at 50 and older. Miracle Balm nourishes skin with jojoba oil, vitamin E, because great skin doesn't stop at 50. We're actually talking, so the wellness persona is someone who understands products, who is invested in products, understands what, for example, the ingredients are, and so on, right? So we're having like a hook and then we're explaining the product. Here the same, makeup for 50 plus skin isn't just about color, right? Deep moisturizer, instant glow, won't settle into lines. We can also go here into the Miracle Balm that we're doing. Here, for example, it's a general audience because we want to be more general, not speak to one specific persona. Here, we're talking to the creative entrepreneur, right? Young creatives, where she's basically saying, it took me 60 seconds to match my shade and now I'm bringing this balm everywhere. Podcasts, brand trips, photo shoots. Nothing else gave me the quick, natural glow, right? So we understood that these people are pretty much a lot on the go. They do like all this cool shit. And especially, you know, women that are wearing makeup, they want to look good all the time because if they're like in front of the camera, in meetings, they need like a quick thing so they can prep themselves. And the important part is not only to hit the messaging here, but also like to hit like the visual part, right? So we can actually see the creative entrepreneur here. We have here focused on the product here. Why does makeup look flat on camera? Wrong shade, you know. Why does it look flat on camera, the makeup? Because, you know, creative entrepreneurs, they do a lot of podcasts, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram Reels, they're filming themselves and so on. So they're very active. They need something that actually works for their case. And here we have the high executive, right? When we look at the high executive, we basically see she's probably like traveling quite a lot. So we wanted to hit like this travel thing, right? This belongs in your bag if you travel for work. Because, you know, those Miracle Balms you can put in every bag. And you can see this belongs in your bag if you travel for work. Deeply nourishing, won't settle into lines, finger blendable, natural glow. Oh, walk off the plane ready for your first board meeting. Same here. So we're trying to be visually and messaging wise very much on the persona. And for Jones Road, they have like quite a lot of personas and they understand who the persona is. So it's very easy for us to really like go deep into it and understand what to do and what maybe not to do here. So, and when we look at all those things, right, the next part that I wanted to continue on is actually, okay, now we understand who the persona is, right? And I mean, if you understand who the persona is, you then have to understand on what awareness level I'm gonna hit them, because you have different awareness stages from unaware to totally aware. And depending on what your current persona or what awareness level they are, you have to adjust your static ads, right? Because you have ads which are top of funnel, where you're basically speaking to people who are unaware or maybe just like problem aware. Then you have middle funnel things where you're talking to people who are like solution aware, maybe product aware, right? And in bottom of funnel, people are totally aware and they just like need this little last touch or like push to get the purchase done into your shop, right? If you understand who your persona is, you understand on what level you should talk to them, right? And so you have three different stages, as said. You have top of funnel, where you talk to cold traffic. You have, you know, retargeting, warm traffic, which is like basically middle funnel and bottom of funnel, where you basically talk about, you know, they know the problem, they know the brand, they're considering, but you have to now remove the friction. Could be, is this product really working for me, right? They're gonna have like some different objections that you need to talk about, right? It's pricing, maybe risk, trust, and so on, right? And this needs to be talked about. And I'm also have like examples here, right? So we're here more on the top of funnel creative level, right? Where we say, walk off the plane, ready for your first board meeting, the Miracle Balm. Or here, this belongs in your bag, your travel for work, right? So people are like, okay, what is it? It's curious. Why should I have it? What are we talking about, right? And then, or like maybe here, effortless glow at 50 plus, right? Makeup for 50 plus skin isn't just about color. All these creatives basically go right into the top of funnel section, because they're like for people who are problem aware. Also, effortless glow at 50, because people who are above 50, they know it's not effortless to have a glow at 50, because you have to put quite a bit into it, and they're like things that maybe don't work as they maybe should work, right? And then we have like middle funnel things. For example, here, those review ads. I was scared of foundation, but this one leaves 0 creases even hours later. Because for example, we know that for an older audience, they're basically really scared of foundation, because when you're older, you're gonna have, when you put foundation on your face, this foundation will settle in your lines, right? And when it settles in your line, it will make you look older after 1-2 hours. And this product that Jones Road made, it won't settle in your line, so it won't make you older. So you're gonna keep your freshness. You're gonna keep like this younger glow to yourself. So we made this one here, for example. Again, we hear 0 creases even after, even hours later. And we have thousands of 5-star reviews. We put those things into here, right? Also, this is like more of a middle funnel. Hey, I'm 36 and this is the first SPF that actually works with my skincare and the blurring effect. And then also like bottom of funnel when it comes to sales ads, right? Here, for example, when it's about pricing, people need a push. Obviously, you're not running a sale all the time. So you have to think about cold friendly offer, right? So always think when you sell something that you have like, especially for new customers, that you have a cold friendly offer, which means that someone who sees you for the first or second time, they're gonna see that offer and they have to feel stupid if they're not buying the product or they're not like buying for that price. So you can give things on top for free because you know the perceived value is much higher than you actually pay, because maybe you're paying for the product $2, but you're selling it for $20 and you give it for free for $20. The perceived value for the person is $20, but your margin hits just $2, and that's usually better than giving discounts, right? Because discounts immediately hits like a lot of the margin of the products you're selling. The other way around, it's a bit more margin efficient, right? So these are like the different funnel stages and those creatives that you definitely have to look at. And also looking at visual direction, right? That I just touched upon. When we have personas or we have settings, we want to hit those settings. So if I want to sell a protein powder, creatine, or whatever to someone who hits the gym regularly, I want to have like a gym setting. If I'm, for example, talking about single moms or busy moms, I want to show moms with their babies, right? So I want to talk visually to them because, you know, the messaging and the visual have to match each other, right? Or here for a creative director, right? Where already said that, hey, she does look like someone. Or here for the business executive who is a lot of like, you know, like traveling around. We have those suitcases. We have those different, you know, like travel things, like those travel trays where you have to put everything in here. What do you think of the plane? I completely understand when you're asking, oh, well, but where do you get those assets from? I want to be honest to you, like you can do quite a lot with AI. So let's maybe talk quickly about how you can actually do those things yourself. And one of the things that our team uses, we're using, you know, Magnific, which is previously called FreePick, but you can do that basically in Gemini or in Hixfield or any other tool too, whatever you have the subscription for, right? You should just have the access to use Nano Banana Pro or GPT-2, right? What I'm gonna show you is basically what we're doing. For example, if I wanna do this executive director who is traveling a lot and I wanna have like this airport feeling, I'm going to Pinterest, or my team goes to Pinterest and they're typing in airport. And then they're gonna see those different, you know, different images. And then you just look through and then you try to understand, okay, wait, maybe what image could work well? For example, this could maybe work well, or this could maybe work well, right? Or maybe any other image, right? Or this could maybe work well, right? And then you look for reference images and then you can go to Magnific, and I'm gonna show you how we did it. For example, for Jones Road, we're at an airport, the business executive, she's working, or the creative director, she's working at the airport. And what we did is like, basically we took like this reference image that we found on Pinterest, and then we used like a product image that we got from the brand, and then we merged it, right? You can upload references, then you can say an iPhone photo, image 1, a woman has a laptop on her lap and product image in her hand. Natural, clean, short nails, and no jewelry visible. And then you basically can hit the generate button and it will generate it. You can see that we are immediately doing it in a story format, which makes sense. We're using ChatGPT 2, but you can also use Nano Banana 2, the same thing. And that's the way in how you can use reference images to create complete different new assets that you currently don't have. And this is so amazing because you could also like use that and create a small video out of it if you would like to, right? This is how we create a lot of like, you know, different static ads, and we can go through like a ton of those. You know, here, for example, here's a reference image that we had. Here's the product, and we say iPhone image, a dark skinned woman is holding a product, natural clean nails, right? Because, you know, the reference is just a reference. You can then just still say, okay, how do I want the person to look like? And then you you just like trial and error, see what images work for you. And that's how you come to those visuals that you need, right? And then also what I would like to show you is how could you actually do the messaging. What I have, for example, is we have different projects in Claude that we're using. And you can also like create a project where you can then have like the headlines, right? And what we're doing here, we basically create a brand DNA. You can hit me up in the comments if you want to have the prompt on how to create a brand DNA. And we also have like a comprehensive context document for static ad headlines, which are regularly updated. Basically, it tells Claude on how to write static ads, right? And then we have an instruction which basically tells the project what it has to do to look through the files and everything. What you could do here is like, because it's a new brand that I just like pulled up, is you can put in reviews and you can also like put in the best 10 headlines that you had throughout the last year, right? And then, for example, you can go in and let him know. You can tell him, hey, I'm looking for this and that persona group. You then add the product and basically he will write you the headlines that you need to have. And with those headlines, we actually hit such a great return in the ad account. And if you now think through everything one more time, it's really so simple. You have to review the persona that you have. Based on that, you can create a Claude project with the necessary persona documents that you're having, all right? So what we have here is basically the static ad headline copywriter for Waterdrop, okay? So if we go through it, you have the personas that you analyzed through Manus with the reviews of the brand, or the research online through other brands, competitors, or Amazon or Reddit, okay? When you have the personas, you can, I showed you already how to create different visuals, because the visuals, they have to match the persona and the concept that you're using, right? And then you have to also have like a strong message, which we already went through it. You need to have the hook, you need to show the core message, we have to like show some social proof and everything. So how to write great copy. So either you're a very good copywriter or you create a Claude project that I did here. So for example, we have for this Claude project for Waterdrop, I created a Claude project, which you can do here on the left side. It's here project, you create one. And then what I have, for example, already a persona MD, right? So we created personas, I uploaded it. We have for Waterdrop, we have specific angles that we have. I don't know, it could be taste, it could be hydration, it can be zero sugar, soda replacement, and so on. Waterdrop is basically, a drop that you put into your water that gives it flavor, vitamins, and should get you away from soda. So you have a bit more healthier lifestyle and you drink more water. We also, for example, here have some Waterdrop compliance things like do's and don'ts that we should say or should not say, right? And we have a brand context document. If you need that one, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna share the prompt for it. We have a tone of voice that we uploaded because, we want to hit like a certain tone of voice. And then we have a document which basically explains on how we want Claude to write static headlines, all right? And then we also have like an instruction which basically say, hey, look, through all those files that we gave you, this is the structure you should follow, and so on. And then you can basically go into here. Maybe we can have this one as a starting point. And I say, hey, mate, we saw that the angle soda replacement is working quite well, especially in the US. Here is the product that we want to focus on, right? And then you said, okay, the first one is problem solution, direct response, workhorse. Headline, still reaching for the fizzy one, cola, orange, lemon, lime with zero sugar and essential vitamins, right? So you can see that there's the copy, but then you have like a strong visual that makes it explain better. They can have it as a cube-sized fix, right? So we're again talking about people who are like addicted to like those fizzy drinks, and where I say you can have it, has a cube fizzy, familiar, sugar-free, drop a cube, sip to swap. And there we go, 5 soda-inspired flavors, 0 sugar, made in Germany, and so on and so on. Basically, it really like goes down, write different copy. If you're not happy, you just do like your back and forth if you would like to exchange something. But this is the way on how to generate copy. And if you put everything into work, you basically have to do it one time where you do the Claude project for static headlines. You have to do the personas once, and after that you can just like generate images as much as you want with great copy and just like publish and push them, right? And then everything is about iterations, right? At the beginning, you should definitely think about who is my persona and what is, for example, the angle that I want to do. For example, if I have Jones Road ads, right? So we had like the high executive who is like busy, right? And our angle was someone who's traveling a lot. So we want to hit like this traveling angle with traveling visuals. And when we see that this is working, depending on the spend and how much you spend, so I would say that roughly up to $500 to $700, like on a big account, you should understand if this ad actually works or it doesn't work. And if it works, after like a couple of days, you can iterate on it. And how can you iterate? You can iterate on different kind of visuals, different kind of copy, but then you can also diversify through different ad styles. You can go to UGC, videos, before, after, whatever, to have like this diversity and build from there, and then test again, right? Have this testing cycle where you just like exchange things, right? I mean, basically, this is the whole workflow, right? And that's exactly how brands like Jones Road, Gieswein, or Waterdrop chose to work with us as an agency, right? The average brand that works with me sees like 20 to 30% drop in CAC thanks to our persona-based creative strategy while growing revenue. We produce hundreds of creatives every single month, testing different messages, having new visuals, we just do everything that I just explained to you. And we also like run campaigns in German and English, so we're quite international. And we're also like onboarding Spanish clients recently. So if you're a brand spending over 100K a month and you want this system applied for your brand and increase your output, I'm more than happy to have a chat with you where we go into everything, where also like maybe give you like immediately tips if I see some things. And if you like the content, hit the subscribe button. I'm more than happy to help all of you guys with as much as I know. Ask me questions in the channel, and I see you next week when I drop the next video.